Calculations, calculations and calculations. All about protein, fat and carbohydrates. Are you confused? Hi, welcome to another video of Indian Keto Diet, everything which you need to know. I would be speaking about keto calculations in a basic format. I promise you that I will not be using an application or a tracker. It's very easy to use an application to find your keto calculation, and that's what YouTube is filled with. So firstly, to understand keto calculations, you would have to check the other videos of the playlist because it talks about what you can eat on keto, who should avoid keto, if you're eligible for keto, and if you can manage your keto diet according to where you stay. These calculations can be really helpful. What are macros? Macros are short form to macronutrients. Must have heard about protein, fats and carbohydrates. Everybody knows about it in the modern day world. That what are protein, fats and carbohydrates? These are the sources your body drives energy, and these are important for human survival. So macros are too complex at times. We start calculating them in a very weird manner. When also we try to adapt to a ketogenic diet, we simply do not understand the idea that protein has 4 calories each and fat has 9 calories each. Why am I not speaking about carbohydrates? Because obviously carbohydrates are going to be very minimal. It could be below 20 grams, 30 grams, 50 grams, depending on your goals and how your keto journey is been through. The first approach of calculating your keto ratios is calculating your BMR, which is a typical approach which everybody does. This was discovered by Harris Benedict in 1919, which is pretty much 100 years old. And this is not something which is new to everybody. The second way is my simple way of calculation, which is just calculating your weight and as well as multiplying it with a number and coming to fats and proteins. So we'll understand the first way, which is a difficult manner. So let's check out what are the calculations here. So this is a simple calculation which was revised in 1990s. In 1919, Harris Benedict had come up with the calculation for BMR, and in 1990s it was the last revision which was done for BMR. There are other also calculators, those who calculate BMR from a different way. So no matter you try to hold your ear from here or you want to hold it all the way, it is going to be the same thing. For male, it is 10 into your weight plus 6.25 into height minus 5 into your age plus 5. Now age has to be in years, your weight has to be in kg, height has to be in centimeters. For females, it is calculated 10 into your weight, 6.25 into your height minus 5 into your age minus 161. Now we'll take two examples of a 90 kg, 5 feet 9 inches and a male who is 30 years old. And we'll take another example of a female who is 70 kgs, 5 feet 4 inches and a female who is 30 years old. Now this is my average age which I've seen my clients usually very interested to adapt to a ketogenic diet. So as per calculations of your BMR, your male calories, a male who is 90 kgs, who's 5 feet 9 inches and 30 years old can consume 1970 calories, and for a female who's 70 kgs, 5 feet 4 inches and 30 years can consume 1420 calories. And with these calories, what we simply do is that we calculate 20% less of these. So when we deduct 20% for male and female, we'll have calories which are decent enough to start your fat loss journey. So as per this 100-year-old calculation method, which has been revised in 1990s, which is 30 years ago, the calculation for a male comes down to 1970 calories and for a female it comes down to 1420 calories, with deducting 20% for each as a calorie deficit for fat loss. A female body reaches close to 1136 calories and a male body reaches close to 1576 calories. Now when we try to understand this calorie deficit, now what we'll do is we'll divide these calories into protein and fat ratios. So let's take 20% protein for each of them. And let's take the rest of it as fats. Yes, there are going to be net carbs. We'll not count them in calories. You can also count them in calories as 5%. That's the deficit one which we have already accounted for. So for a male body who's consuming 1576 calories as a deficit, 80% of fats, which is typical calculation for keto, keeping into consideration that you have a sedentary lifestyle and you don't need a lot of protein, with keeping your protein at adequate levels, it comes down to 1260 calories coming from fat and 316 calories coming from protein. For a female at 1136 calories, we'll see 908 calories from fat and 227 calories which are from protein source. Now when we try to divide these calories in absolute fat grams, we'll divide fats by 9 and we'll divide protein by 4. So the basic calculation of fats and protein and converting it for a male body would be 140 grams of fat and 79 grams of protein. For a female, it will be 100 grams of fat and 57 grams of protein. That is how we can divide it into 2 meals, 3 meals, 1 meal. Also deduct these calories depending upon how your body is moving. We can reassess these calories every 3 to 5 days, or in fact every week, and try to recalculate. Now this is the traditional way of adapting to keto. Majority of the coaches believe in, which they believe in calculating BMR, then calculating how your energy activity is, then counting your calories which you're burning in a workout, and counting calories each and every day by tracking through an application. Now I have a different way of adapting to keto, in which I have a number which you can simply calculate according to your weight, and it is, say, slightly different for a male or female. Now this is something which I've tried and tested over 550 plus individuals, but please understand this is not a claim that this calculation works for everybody. It depends on how your body has responded to keto, what are your current goals, and what kind of protein fat ratios are you choosing. So my simple calculation of adapting to keto is that a person can have between 1.1 to 1.4 grams of fat depending upon male, female and their weight. The second thing which I strongly believe is that a person can have close to, say, 0.6 to 0.9 grams of protein. Yes, you'll be shocked after listening to this because everybody speaks about 1 gram of protein. But while you are on a ketogenic diet, the more protein you consume, the body can convert it into glucose-based substrates. It is important for you to prioritize protein, but it is not important for you to obsess on protein. Rings a bell, right? So this male who's 90 kgs, now depending upon his height, if he is averagely, say, between 5 feet 7 inches to 5 feet 9 inches, we would simply make a calculation of 90 into 1.2. Now when we calculate 90 into 1.2 for fats, we will also calculate for protein 90 into, depending upon, say, sedentary lifestyle, we'll simply keep a calculation of 0.75 for protein. Okay, the same calculation for females, which is 70 kgs. Now if this person is 5 feet 6 inches and taller, you can reduce the calories, you can increase the calories depending upon your goals. But if you reduce the calories way too much, your body may not lose fat. That is another fact which we'll cover in the coming season, in the coming series as well, about what you should do on keto and what you should not do on keto. So 70 into, let's take a rough calculation of 1.3, which is easy. 70 into, no workouts, nothing, 0.6. The taller you are, the more calories you can consume. The shorter you are, less calories you can consume. For females, it is very, very important to understand that your average height around you, according to your culture, according to your geographical location, you will have to find what is the average height. Average height for females is between 5 feet 2 inches to 5 feet 4 inches. Some of them are taller as well, which is 5 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 7 inches, or some of them are really tall, they are at 5 feet 11 inches. So the more taller you are, the basic rule is to increase some calories. The basic rule is to include your fats, which are at 1.4 grams, or your protein intake at 0.9, and reducing your fats as well. Now this calculation has a shade of grey, that you cannot just simply calculate an uttermost absolute calculation. It is similar to how BMR is, that no matter how much ever you try to keep a caloric deficit, despite being in deficit, you will have the maximum amount of calories. So yes, it is a great idea to calculate a BMR and then do these calculations, but these calculations make your life much more simpler, because what you can do is you can simply note down what are your fat calculations today, and even if you reduce by 0.1, it helps you to cut down a decent amount of calories. Coming to the final figures of what could be these calculations of 90 into 1.2, 90 into 0.75 for male, 70 into 1.3 and 70 into 0.6 for female. The calculation comes down to 972 calories coming from fat and 270 calories coming from protein, total of 1242 calories. For females, the fat is 819 calories and 168 calories, which is 987 calories in total. Now these are what the calculations come into place. At the end of these calculations, you can deduct by 100 calories or you can increase by 100 calories. Now there are 3 factors what you should do with these calories and how you can plan your meals. Number first, if you're feeling really hungry, increase your protein intake. Increase it by 50 calories. Because when you consume protein, it's 4 calories each. So if you increase it by 50 calories, you're consuming roughly close to 12 grams of protein extra. Or if you want to reduce your fat intake, you can compensate your fat intake with protein intake and see if you're not feeling hungry. So the first factor is, which is a thumb rule, how hungry are you? Number 2, what are your goals? If you want fat loss, these calories as it is would work at least for 2 to 3 weeks for you. You don't have to change them every single week, but you can also revise them as depending upon how your body is reacting. If you're not just doing it for fat loss, you're doing it for medical purposes, yes, you can increase your calories by 200 to 300 calories also on the same calculation. But you have to be in deficit according to how many calories your BMR calculation has come into. Whereas the third thing, which is a basic thumb rule, is that don't obsess over protein. It's important for you to complete your protein intake, but it is equally important for you to consume enough fats while you're starting with keto. Later on, you can definitely reduce your fats, you can definitely reduce your protein intake, shuffle between them, which we'll be understanding in the coming videos about what needs to be done. But these are basic calculations about what I believe and what I've tried with, and these calculations can be really helpful for you. For more information, check out my website ketorets.com. And please, this is a disclaimer, this is not a medical advice, neither this is a pure soul advice according to your keto diet. You may be doing something correct, but you may get confused after watching this video. So share it with your friends, those who are starting with their keto journey for the first time. And this is in consideration according to your culture, height, weight. This is also in consideration with your binge eating habits. I'm considering both the males and females here as a case of somebody who has a sedentary lifestyle, somebody who would not be able to include workouts in their span of keto, somebody who is just looking at very basic physical activity, which is going to office, walking down to office, or just coming back from any of the supermarkets, or just going for basic work which we do, household work in India. Stay tuned on the channel to know more about keto and how you can adapt to keto in India. Comment below your views about these calculations and what you think could be a miss here. We would be covering up in the next video about what ratios can you change and what kind of calculations are you supposed to change. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This is Rahul Kamra signing off.